Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rate Tip Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host, our other co-host, Mr. Russell Cato, is unavailable today. In a post dated October 11, 2025, Roland Martin stated, quote, that Black-owned media struggles to offer benefits because they're often frozen out of the advertising dollars. ... End of quote. He went on to state that when brands are called out for not advertising, people need to respond. End of quote. In another post on that same date, Martin asked a rhetorical question directed at major corporations and business leaders. He asked, who are you all spending your dollars with? Who are you spending your dollars with? Please take a listen to a clip from Roland Martin's podcast. Give me a second.
So when we talk about Black-owned media, y'all wondering why we don't have 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 people? Y'all wondering why? Well, man, if I go get a job there, I don't have health benefits and dental. I don't have 401k and retirement because we literally can't afford it. I'm just being straight up with y'all. Y'all need to understand what's going on here. When we are frozen out of the advertising dollars, you can't build and grow. So you can go out and raise money. You can go out and you can get private equity. You can get venture capital. That don't mean nothing if you cannot build your business on the advertising side. And so when y'all hear, and it's the last point I make before I go to Julian and Rebecca. So when y'all see me post, when we are calling out brands for not advertising with us, Pepsi, when y'all see us calling out brands, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Clorox, products that Black people are buying, when y'all see us doing that, I'm going to need y'all to respond the same way y'all do if I post some shit about LeBron, Michael Jordan, Beyonce, or Tyrese, or something, entertainment and sports, news and information. So that's what
Roland Martin is making a very valid point. He's saying that we have all these major corporations that are not doing what they should be doing. And we as a community, we as Black people need to do what we should be doing. Spend our dollars wisely. Because Black media being excluded from those dollars, advertising dollars, is a major concern. And it has been a major concern for years. It's nothing new. It's been a major concern for years. I have firsthand experience of the serious struggles of the Black media here in St. Petersburg. I had many conversations with Mr. Eugene Danzy, owner of WRXB radio station, in the years past. I've had many conversations with Mr. Cleve Johnson, owner of the Weekly Challenger newspaper, struggles. I've had conversations with Mr. Richard Love, owner, publisher of the Bulletin News. And I've had many conversations with other Black media figures, all struggling. And it's not just here in St. Petersburg, but I just wanted to point out my personal experiences here in St. Petersburg. And it's shameful. It's shameful that the Black media can't get the support from the people, from the businesses, from the churches, from the government entities. It's shameful. We need the Black-owned media, pure and simple.
I agree.
We need a voice. When we can't get that voice from the majority-owned media, what's so hard about that? People, this is St. Petersburg, Florida. If it's not happening in Miami, if not happening in Jacksonville or any other city in Florida, that's one thing. But we can do something about it here in St. Petersburg. One last point on this. We have a mayor who had the gall to say he has not supported this radio station, 99.1 FM The Bird, because it does not meet his standards for community support. That is as stupid as it gets. That is as stupid as it gets. But that's the same mayor who hasn't supported so many other Black businesses. Yet he constantly talks about everybody being on the same playing field, everybody being equitable in terms of support. If we have a mayor making stupid statements such as what I just stated, why should he be given your vote for re-election? We need to move on. There are lots of people that will do a better job in terms of supporting the businesses in this community, the Black businesses. Thank you.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jay?
There are a lot of even local businesses that could support, our media outlets, our Black-owned media outlets. And I mean, yeah, the mayor administration should. They really should, because they have the funding, they have the funds to do it and be easier. But we need to go back to the basics, like how they did in Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma, how we help one another. We put the money back into the community and help each business grow. That's how they all became successful. And like I said, we really need to get back to it. But there are a lot of Black business owners that are doing quite well that could just, use our outlets, use the local community outlets to get their business name out there but you rather pay somebody else that's outside of your community who cares nothing about you.
There's nothing.
Yeah, and also
nothing.
And the politicians, they always want something for free. They'll come and sit down if it's for free all day. But they have the money, they have the means, they have pockets of money for this, to sit down during election time. If you're willing to pay, come and sit down. Use the radio station, but don't think you're just going to get everything for free. And that's one thing I noticed. Election time, everybody wants something for free. They all want it for free. So we got to do better, people, if we want to, because we're talking about our dollars and companies that don't use our venues, our outlets, because we gotta develop products within our community that'll make them come to us. That's what we got to do. And how we do that is using the methods that they used back in the day with Tesla and these other Black communities that struggle, that were in much worse conditions that we're in. So we just need to come together more. And
I mentioned several of the Black media leaders in our community a few years back, and how I personally tried to help those struggling media sources. I went to Richard Love, owner of the Bulletin News, because I recognized how he was struggling. And I told him that I wanted to help him. And in helping him, I wanted to write a weekly news column. And I told him that in writing that column, it was going to be a very provocative column, and that I was going to probably make people mad at me. And they would probably be mad at him as well. And I asked him, can you handle it? And Mr. Love said, yes. And these are the facts. I was writing articles, very provocative, calling out people, and interest in his paper grew. People were constantly looking for a copy of the articles. The girl that was delivering the paper went to the city, and she was going to drop off papers, and a high-level employee there said, good, I want to get that paper because I want to see what Ray Tampa wrote this week. And I was volunteering that. I wrote for that paper a year and a half, volunteering those articles. And I volunteered for all the other media outlets that I've tried to help in that type of situation. But more than what I did, I recognize what others are not doing. And that's the problem. That's the problem. But I just can't get over our mayor. I'm going to leave it alone after this point. I just can't get over our mayor talking about standards of community impact. Yet, when he was running for election, he did advertise on this radio station because we did a caravan. My car was the lead car in the caravan. The mayor rode in my car. And the first thing he did when he got in my car, reach over and turn the radio on so he could hear his ad on the radio. Yet, after he's elected, he can't find any support for the radio station. To hell with him. All right, Jay, what you got?
Speaking of media, and so my report today is on Rockbridge. Some of you may have heard about it. Some of you probably don't know anything about it. It was kind of new to me. I kind of stumbled upon it. So Rockbridge was co-founded by J.D. Vance, our VP, and this guy by the name of Chris Buskirk, who is a MAGA media giant and basically the true mastermind of it. I guess they just needed to get Vance in office to really kind of flourish. And this all started in 2019. It's a secretive billionaire network to gain more influence over our government. The funding by this powerful coalition of Republican MAGA donors who gave somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 million to the project since 2019. According to sources, I guess this guy didn't want to be, he wanted to be anonymous, but he's very close to the group. Said that having Major Vance as was a major accomplishment, wielding new national influence, such as leading Silicon Valley, because they needed to get major companies on board. And Silicon Valley is now more Republican because of the influence and the push from this particular coalition. Rockbridge is a private group or club of billionaire tech giants and old money donors that build political startups, much like the template used in Silicon Valley, you know, with all their business dealings. The members will pay $100K to $1 million per year to maintain membership, which is different levels of power decision-making based on how much money you put in. And you're going to invest this money every year. So the more money, the more decision-making and power, stuff like that you have. The governing body of Rockbridge plans out their strategies for White Ring America as we see it today and for the future. Funding comes from this guy, Peter Thiel, and I think Rebecca Mercer of the Mercer family, and also the Winklevoss twins. These are all tech libertarians and hedge fund families that hate government, paying taxes, and they're all cultural racists that hate diversity. They fund media outlets so conservative outlets dominate the narrative, and that their views and versions of the truth remain constant. They assemble makeshift teams that that they put in place like they're doing now because Trump is in office. So the Republicans, to help win elections, so they can deploy operatives to flood DC and throw lawsuits here and there, threaten anyone that tends to get in their way or speak against them. This is part of their power machine. This is what they're doing. They use money and power to infiltrate judges, school boards, universities, organizations, kind of like what Kirk was doing. He was, I guess, a finger of what they were doing because they were hitting university schools. Because the younger the mind, if you can get the young mind and shape it, when it grows up and mature, you got them. So stuff like that. Just anything like that to fuel their endeavors, to gain power. And what they know that most don't know, that power also exists outside. So they're going outside of the White House as well as inside. I mean, this is a scary, organized group. As we always say, Trump's an idiot. He's basically the bubblehead, the tool used for distraction and misdirection. Blackridge is the infrastructure and the added rocket fuel that furthers Project 25's agenda, because like I say, it's the machine being used, and they're not just looking at this term. They're not looking at these 4 years. This is for they're thinking of the future. They're making a template for the future, for the next 20 years and more. This plan has accomplished their goal. They plan to accomplish their goals no matter who the president is. Because if you think about it, if you got a plan, you got the blueprint. You don't necessarily, whoever you put in place, just going to follow the blueprint. So that's how they will be able to further it and shape the future with it. And it's scary. This stuff is carried out with military precision. And another thing they're trying to do is they're trying to replace the old Republican way of doing things with new, younger Republican people, more think tank and action oriented. These institutions, they're more effective in all the ways as far as meeting their goals. And right now, that is why Project 2025 is moving steady and really almost probably more than half, at least 70% of the way complete. That last bit that I just mentioned about being oriented institutions and effective with their goals, that came from the New York Times. And you can find more information on this in the New York Times and places like that because it's out. I just never heard about it. And I talk with other people and they've never heard about it. But keep in mind, these people are extremely rich. They want to control elections, policy, the government, and all things that can be ran by the financial elite, aka the rich oligarch Republicans, because they want to end the existence of a democracy in America. They use sinister and sophisticated methods to build networks of potential voters. They will go to these anti-government groups. They go to churches, like these outdoor groups, like that Waco type stuff situation. They go to those groups. They empower them. They fund them. They're just anti-government in the sense as long as the government is working their way, they're cool with it. But they want to control the government, the whole Republican Party. Keep in mind, as you know, they will play dirty. They're playing dirty now, as the administration does, the current administration does. Lying, manipulation, intimidation, they all dwell in the same salad. So nothing much has changed, but they're trying to shape the future. It's just not for the here and now. They are extremely dangerous. We need to really be working on, like I said, for the next election, we need to really dig in and take this serious because the way we're doing as Democrats, We seem weak, as I've always said, and we got to get that fight in us.
Okay, so this organization that you did your research on is interested in eliminating our democracy as
Yes,
we know it
as we know
today.
it. Yes, sir.
And in doing so, they want to maintain control
Mm-hmm.
of our government
Mm-hmm.
for not just now, but for years to
For
come.
years to come. Years to
And
come.
the main source of control is
Media outlets.
media
Media
outlets.
outlets and just
Media outlets.
yeah, and flooding these other ancillary anti-government groups, money, because you could buy like-minded thinking.
Mhm.
You can buy it. You know what I mean? And that's what they've been doing. Multi-billionaires. And they look at their buy-in. I think it's like 75 in the group. But look at the buy-in just to have a seat at the table, starting at 100K to 1 million and probably higher than that.
What they're emphasizing is the importance of the media.
Yes, that's why
This is what I was talking about prior to you
That's-
doing your presentation.
that was a good segue.
Then the media is important, yet we got people in our community
Mm-hmm.
that don't understand that.
They don't. They don't.
That's why they need to support this radio station. They need to support the Weekly Challenger. They need to support any Black media
Right.
because that's a voice.
Right.
That's a voice.
And when we say Black media, it's not excluding other races, other people. It's just the other races already have their stuff together. We're trying to build what's here within our community. It's not a race thing, but the Black community is suffering. We're suffering. We're lacking, and we got to get the mindset. We need classes within our communities to get people to understand about self-empowerment and self-building, as far as with businesses and supporting one another, not just being in competition, supporting one another. We need this. That's how you get that Black Wall Street and other enriched, strong communities back in the day that didn't even have the rights that we have now.
Well, you made a good point, supporting one another and trying to build capacity for all the different businesses in the community.
Mm-hmm.
A business might have only 2 employees,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to build the capacity where they might have 10 employees.
Right.
Like Roland Martin stated that he doesn't have the employees that would go out and do the recruiting for those advertising dollars. He doesn't have the resources to buy a table at the NAACP's annual banquet or the Urban League's annual banquet. He doesn't have the resources to buy a table at the Congressional Black Conference's banquet. And he wants to build the capacity for his business to do those things. Right here, talking to Don at 99.1. I'm sure Don would love to have the capacity to pay all of his bills on time without digging into his own pocket. I'm sure he would love that. And there is so much in our community that should be available to assist him with that.
I mean, even the churches. If you think about churches, that could be part of the curriculum. And they're already paying tithe. So, you know what I'm saying? That could be an educational part. Because some of these people, they take advantage and be like, oh, you want to charge $250, just don't show you how to run a business and blah, blah, blah. No, if you got somebody who's already struggling or somebody that's even thinking about it, they don't have the funds for that. Just give them the ground floor. That should be part of the.
Excellent.
Yeah, but churches and stuff, were all about community. They taking money from the community. So even some churches, and I know that there's some that do. So I'm not knocking all of them, but there's some that do. And there's a lot that don't.
There was this push to get Black people not to make purchases on Black Friday or for the week leading up to Black Friday, trying to get the Black people to make a statement that their dollars matter, that their dollars represent strength. I don't know how it turned out. I didn't do any shopping, but I don't know how it turned out. I hope it turned out reasonably
Yeah.
well. But hell, we might want to do some I don't want to use the word boycotting, but we might want to use our buying power on Black businesses. Some of these Black businesses that are doing well, but not spending money in the community.
Right.
I talked about all the different things I did for the Black media leaders in years past. The Weekly Challenger, Cleve Johnson, publisher, owner. Before he passed away, Cleve and I were really tight. We used to do First Friday events and other events, social events. Cleve was a sharp dresser, and I feel like I was doing okay too. So he really liked to spend time with me, and we did things together. And I was going to start writing a weekly article in his paper. And I was going to focus on these foreigners in our community with the convenience stores, the gas stations, the hair stores that are just grabbing all these dollars out of our community and putting nothing back in. You didn't see them in church bulletins, or you didn't see them in Little League brochures advertising. You didn't see them advertising anywhere in our community. Yet they're grabbing all these dollars and taking them elsewhere. And I was going to start writing and exposing the various stores before Cleve got sick. But once he got ill and passed away, you know, the idea went with him in terms of that.
And that's what you look at when you get natural disasters that impact, you know, low income neighborhoods and areas. That's what you look at. You see who's going to step forward, and you don't see these convenience stores or these other, you know what I mean? The people you just mentioned helping out. All they do is take, grab. That's all they do, and you don't see it.
Now there were some efforts to bring attention or to expose this service station on 9th Street, 18th Avenue, sporadic people with signs protesting. But we need to get more organized in that type of effort.
Right.
And expose these people, because I was told that the owners of that particular store were nasty.
Yeah.
They treated their African-American customers with disrespect. And there has to be a price to pay.
And that's dangerous. They're in the belly of the beast. That's real dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to get to your car to leave the store. You got to cut that out.
Well, hopefully they have cut it out. They have cut it out. I want to thank Jay for his presentation as always. Jamie and Russell Cato, two of the best co-hosts a person can have.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, the listeners, for tuning into the Ray Tampa podcast, and ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday evening, 5:30 p.m. on 99.1 FM The Bird. We ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa podcast, and you can see them all. And I want to remind you, please, if you haven't done so, call the supervisor of elections office and request your mail-in ballots. We need each and every one of you to vote in the upcoming elections. We need to turn things around. Too many people in our community have been hurt by stupidity. And we can turn it around if enough of us vote. So please call the supervisor of elections office. And with all that being said, good evening.